Please welcome InterSystems Head of Developer Relations, Dean Andrews.
Hey everybody. Good morning. Very excited to be here. I am going to give you a brief background on hackathons for those that are new to the topic. I'm going to give you an overview of our hackathon program, and I'm going to invite you to join us. As the slide says, I love hackathons, and I'll explain why and why you should care in just a minute. But first, since we're here together, and I'm a little bit starved for human interaction, two questions. Who here has been to a hackathon this year? Anybody? All right. Now, who plans to go to a hackathon this year? Okay. So I've got a few people on board with hackathons, and I've got a bunch of people I need to persuade. Perfect. Let's go. So what the heck is a hackathon? Well, the word hackathon is an amalgam of the words hack and marathon. And that's because a hackathon is an event where people come together to work on a project. They're often working in teams on a product, service, or tool. The event is sponsored by a company or organization that brings the theme. There's a timeline of a day or a weekend. And there are competitions and prizes to draw people to the event. Now, there are also important roles in a hackathon that you need to know about. There's the obvious role of hacker, someone working directly on a project. There's the role of mentor, someone advising and guiding the teams to do their best work. And there's the role of judge, someone who evaluates all the work and declares the winners. Simple, right? There are two myths I want to dispel about hackathons right up front here. The first is that you need to know how to code to participate in a hackathon. So this was true in the early days of hackathons. It was mainly focused on software developers. But now it's well understood that project teams need input from people who understand business, research, user experience design, and other areas in order to be successful. So now people with those backgrounds participate in hackathons in addition to software developers. The second myth is that hackathons are only for students. Again, true in the old days. But nowadays, we have seen many professionals in many industries participate in hackathons because they want to break new ground in the field in which they work. Make sense? So how did this all get started? Well, historians, who I like to call the internet, trace the origins back to 1975 to Menlo Park, California, where a group of computer hobbyists would regularly get together in the Homebrew Computer Club. And by the way, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak were members of that club. But it wasn't until 1999 when the term hackathon was first coined, when 10 developers got together at an event in Calgary, a crypto event. And then later that same year, Sun Microsystems used the term again for an app building event for the Palm 5 device. Anybody remember that? All right. Jump to the mid-2000s. Hackathons are starting to catch on now. And here we see businesses like Facebook and Yahoo. They start to produce hackathons to get people to build apps for their platform. It's also around this time that TechCrunch launches their first Disrupt event. And this opens the door for businesses to produce annual hackathons as part of their core business. All right, jump to 2015. Hackathons are really taking off now. There are dozens of hackathons every year. And here we start to see hackathons for new industries and new technologies like supply chain and blockchain, for new devices like the Microsoft HoloLens device. And even universities start to get into the game. And this is where InterSystems starts to participate in hackathons. So what's happening in 2022? Hackathons are exploding. There are hundreds of hackathons taking place this year. This is just a very small sample. But this sample illustrates that hackathons are expanding in many directions. There are hackathons for US states. There are hackathons for countries like Smart India. There are hackathons for complex technologies like quantum computing, hard problems like climate change, and even hackathons to lift up underrepresented groups like Girls Who Start. Now you may ask yourself, why? Why all of this investment, time, energy, and money in hackathons? Well, the answer is the same reason that I love hackathons. It's because they are a forge of innovation. Hackathons bring people together away from their day jobs and their overscheduled lives, and it focuses them on innovation. Hackathons foster creativity and collaboration, and they produce results on a deadline. Now, just like a forge, the work at hackathons can get sweaty. Some people work 50 hours straight at these events. But that's okay, because just like a forge, what comes out of a hackathon is often beautiful, sometimes useful, and every once in a while it changes the world for the better. For me, it's personal. Whenever I go to a hackathon, I'm reminded of why I studied computer science in the first place. I wanted to build things that help people. I know that sounds corny, but it's true. I've dragged my kids to hackathons all of their lives. When they were very young, and I worked for the cell phone maker Nokia, I took them to an idea-a-thon for kids. And my oldest daughter's team won first place for, get this, a mind-reading banana phone. And we all thought that was crazy until there was a first mover on the market. When they were a little older, I took them to a mobile app hackathon. And at the very beginning of this event, my youngest daughter lost a tooth. And so we built and published a Tooth Fairy app. And for several years, my family communicated with parents and young children around the world. It's a sweet family memory, and I'm pretty sure we launched an industry of Tooth Fairy apps. In 2015, my kids saw a glimpse of tomorrow at an augmented reality hackathon. And in April of this year, we saw professionals and students from all over the world gather at MIT to build the future of healthcare on InterSystems technology. It was inspiring to witness. But it's not just me and my family. InterSystems loves hackathons. InterSystems believes in the power and potential of your innovation, and so we invest in hackathons. I have a smart and dedicated team that I like to brag about, and they run our hackathon program like a finely tuned machine. We'll travel anywhere in the world to help people innovate on InterSystems technology. How does it all work? We bring all of these resources and more because we know that speed matters. With these resources, I've seen teams integrate with InterSystems technology in 10 minutes. And I've seen teams produce fully functioning prototypes of their innovative solutions within 48 hours. And of course, we celebrate their success with cash and prizes, but that's not all. For those that want to continue, we continue to provide free access to our technology. And for those very motivated, we steer them to apply for our accelerator program. We're on the road in 2022. We've participated in 5 hackathons this year, and we'll do 4 more before the year is done, and then expand that number in 2023 as we continue to grow the program. If you want to stay up to date on our tour schedule and find out how to join us at a hackathon, join our developer community. All the information's there. We've seen amazing innovations come out of these hackathons. You just saw some in the video, and you heard Randy speak about others. If you want more detail, join our developer community. All of the information is there. If you need a reason to join an InterSystems hackathon, here are 3 great ones. Number 1, you will learn how to innovate on our technology. Our resources make it easy. Number 2, even the most experienced developers come away with fresh ideas and a greater understanding of what's possible. And number 3, we learn from you. When we see and hear what you want to do with our technology, we feed that back into the development process to produce better products to meet your needs and help you achieve your goals. So that's it. That's my little hackathon pitch. And at this point, you're either excited about hackathons or you're still on the fence. Well, for those of you still on the fence, let this be your call to action. Join us. We can do more and be better with you. You can be the person that connects the dots and brings hackathons to your business or community. You can be the organizer who handles all the logistics of the event. Be the hacker that works directly on the project. Or be the mentor that advises and guides the teams with your subject matter expertise. Or be the judge that asks the probing questions that helps the teams crystallize their thinking. Or just show up. Bring your kids and grandkids. Cheer on the teams and encourage them to continue. I can tell you from my experience, all of it matters. All of it builds momentum. All of it fires the forge. Join us so we can build things that help people. Now, who wants to go to a hackathon? Thank you.